Hey everyone, I'm Michael Bruce, CMO at Agentmoves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about sharing amazing stories of top realtors and how they got there so we can help make more realtors great. So let's jump in today with someone that really can help make you great, Shon Kokoszka. Did I get that right, Sean? I lost your sound.
Yeah, close enough, buddy. Sometimes I can't pronounce it. Thank you.
Give me the right.
Good job.
All right, thank you. Yeah, with my name, we talked about brew, bruh. It's one of those no one gets it right, so I am sensitive to it. But good, I'm glad I got it right. So, want to talk about something not related, although it's going to be related to real estate. Obviously, if you take a look at Sean behind him, he's a memorabilia guy. I haven't seen his whole house, but he says it's memorabilia all over the place. But I love the connection of what he's done in his business life to sports and having kids that played in college. And I know how the dedication it takes for athletes. Love to hear the connection that you make to this, Sean, and how you kind of transitioned it into what you're doing.
Well, first off, every single person who has signed something sports memorabilia related for me, I've met face to face. I don't display anything that I haven't actually met them. Not only have they motivated, inspired me, and taught me life lessons, they've really empowered me to be a better leader. And let me explain. What I mean by that is each one of these people has mastered this sport that they've chosen to play. I mean, just absolutely gotten as close to mastery as humanly possible. And yet these people behind me on my shelves here, like Terrell Davis, he worked for 3 years to take a half second off his 40. Okay. They practice 99% of the time to perform 1% of the time, seeking perfection. And yet these are people like Mike Ditka, like Terry Bradshaw, Joe Namath, some of my childhood heroes, Peyton Manning, John
Amazing.
Elway, Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp. I mean, all of these guys, I've learned life lessons from them, just getting to know them a little bit. Some of them I've had to hire as speakers to give a keynote because I really wanted to meet them. I wanted them to sign something for me. So why not throw an event and make them the keynote and extract whatever we can for them? I got to tell you a quick digression. My favorite moment associated with sports memorabilia is when I hired Peyton Manning to come in and give a keynote. And man, he did a remarkable job, by the way. But he showed up early and he said, "Sean, bring anything you want me to sign." And we're in the middle of this massive ballroom with these huge round tables, 45-foot ceilings, massive chandeliers, and he's signing all these helmets and footballs and jerseys for me and everything else. And I gave him away as Christmas presents, gave it to my clients and stuff like that. But it culminated, it ended with this. I said, "Peyton, I want to run a post pattern, okay?" And I'm wearing a three-piece suit and dress shoes, right? And so I tell him the route that I'm going to run, and I take off running. I give my little juke, and I turn like this. And dude, I got to tell you, he put that ball on a rope right into my hands. It made my hands burn. And yet, just to be able to say I caught a pass from the great Peyton Manning, two-time Super Bowl or three-time winner Super Bowl champion. I mean, just unbelievable.
Seriously.
Just so much fun to be able to get to know him a little bit. And he called and left me a message on Christmas Day the following year, just wishing my family and me a
Wow.
Merry Christmas, man. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I mean, Peyton Manning actually thought to call me on Christmas Day. That is just unreal. But yeah, it goes further. I mean, I got to golf with Jack Nicklaus about 6 months ago, and he gave me a putting lesson that I'll never, ever forget. He signed a Masters flag for me, which I'm currently having framed, and I'll put that up here in my office. But just the people that I get to meet sometimes just by doing these events and getting in the right room, right? Getting in the right seat in the right room. And if the seat doesn't exist for you, you got to figure out how to create it to find proximity to those people. They rub off on us, right? And they get us to think bigger. And if we think bigger, well, we take bigger actions, we form bigger habits, and we obviously form bigger relationships in the process. So let your life
Tell
be big. Go
So
ahead.
tell me a little bit about, I know like we talked a little bit before here that obviously an incredibly successful agent gave it up in like 2020. You'll talk about coaching and what you've did. I mean, just a fabulous career. People want to hear about this, but I'm really curious about the connections to sports that you've made to these individuals, right? Other agents watching this that, want to have a connection. It doesn't have to be sports, but whatever it is to meet people like this who obviously are connected with people that can spend a lot of money on top of it, but you have a love and passion for sports. How did it begin, or how did you make these connections and be so successful at it?
Yeah, I grew up playing football myself, and I played many different positions. My cousin, he played for the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers, and he was my idol. Now, I was born without that gene that made him 6'6" and built like a brick house. You know what I mean? He's just he was a linebacker, just an incredible football player. I was not born with that, but I was always gravitated toward it. So I played it up through high school, and I just didn't have the size to really bring it much further. Yet, man, I just love the sport. It's so much fun. We've talked before we started the recording how it can bring families together and how it brings friends together. And give me an excuse, I'll get on an airplane and meet you in an NFL game anytime, or an NBA game, or a baseball game, or whatever you want to go see. I'll be there. I just love the competition. I love the support, or the just the camaraderie that comes through sports, right? And the competitive nature of it. See, I think if you want to be in the top 1%, you've got to be a little bit competitive to get there. One of my clients, this kind of brings up a quick story, a digression. It'll take 20 seconds. Yet one of my clients, Mark Spain, he and his team, they closed 8,800 transactions last year. Just unreal what they're doing. And yet I asked Mark, I said, what is your why, Mark? Why do you do what you do? And he looked at me with this grin, and he's a Southern boy, he's in Atlanta. And he said, Shon, man, I just love to win. I said, that's interesting, Mark. Is it that you love to win, or do you just hate to lose? Which is it, right? And yet what I learned is that we as human beings, generally speaking, we're motivated through the contrast. It's not about what we're going to gain. It's about the avoidance of pain. See, with Mark and his mindset, he says he loves to win. It's really that he doesn't want to be second place. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, we can manipulate pain and pleasure, pain and gain within our own mind to motivate human action, right? See, many agents, they get caught up on this, they focus on the wrong thing. They focus on the potential rejection that they might experience if they actually picked up the phone and did their lead generation, or went and knocked doors, or did that open house, or, I don't know, sent a DM to that for sale by owner asking for an opportunity to come preview their property. They're terrified of this. And why is that? See, when's the last time you heard of a realtor getting beat up or shot because they called a for sale by owner and asked for their business?
Right.
Fear is not the same as danger, folks. I want you to get this. They're not going to beat you up if you call them, but what they're focused on is the wrong thing. They're focused on the perception of pain associated with the lead generation activities. Oh, I might get rejected. It might bruise my ego. I might end up with that sick, gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach after somebody hangs up on me. And therefore, the phone, it weighs 2 tons, man. They can't pick it up. They just won't pick it up because they're focused on the wrong thing. Now, hear this, guys. It's been proven scientifically that like energy attracts like energy. And what we focus on expands. If you focus on the perception of pain associated with lead generation, you're never going to do it. Yet, if you focus on the pain of not lead generating, now hear me on this. What is the real pain associated with not doing your lead generation activities? And you
Not
don't have to do
doing business.
teleprospecting. Don't misunderstand me. You don't have to door knock. Don't misunderstand me, right? It's just anything you can do proactively to identify buyers, sellers, investors in the marketplace that might want to engage you in business, right? Yet, if you focus on the pain of not doing it, and I want to make this really painful. So, guys, just stick with me and kind of lean into this part of our conversation. Take this in the spirit I mean it. If you don't do any lead generation or marketing in your business, well, you're not going to have any business. And let's just say that you had a car payment due and you couldn't make that car payment for several months in a row. What happens to the car? Of course, it's repossessed. Is that painful? See, that's real pain to me. Now, what happens if you have a rent payment or a mortgage payment due and you can't make that mortgage multiple months in a row? Eventually, you're going to be homeless. Is that painful? See, again, I want to make this as painful as I possibly can. So my last question around this, how would your friends, how would your family, how would your significant other or your children, how would they view you if you failed at real estate sales? See, to me, that is the ultimate pain. And I'm going to leverage that pain to motivate my actions. See, I don't want my children to look at me like a failure ever. So I'm going to do whatever it takes, man. If it means I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I do not want to be a failure in my children's eyes, you see, because I'm focused on the right thing. Now, it requires us to get into the negative side of the equation. And a lot of people say, well, don't wallow in that. I'm not saying wallow in it. Just simply bring it to your conscious awareness that if you don't do this, here's what's going to happen, and put that right in front of your face as though it's going to happen today, right now. So focus on the pain of not doing it, plus focus on what you gain by doing it, because it's not just a commission check. I mean, sure, the commission check is great and you can do a lot of things with money, yet what else do you gain? You form a friendship that you didn't have before. You get to help others accomplish their goals in real estate. You get to help them improve their net worth and their position and standing in life. Guys, it's not just about a commission check. So if we can focus on the pain of not doing the activity, the real pain, rather than this perception of pain of rejection, that's just bullshit. Guys, don't buy into it, okay? The real pain of not lead generating plus what you gain, then this feeling of, man, I'm going to be rejected. Guess what? That just melts away. And you find yourself taking aggressive and appropriate action by leveraging your own thoughts, by just focusing on the right things rather than the wrong things.
Huh. Beautiful.
What we
Wow.
focus on expands, no doubt.
Absolutely fabulous, fabulous. I'm talking. These interviews are mainly with active agents, and to have someone like you who's been coaching for so many years and developing coaching programs, I mean, that was just an incredible piece of advice. Whether you're a newbie, because a lot of newbies will be watching these videos as well, or you're in it and whatever's going on in the market, and you need to kind of get back to the basics. Whatever. Hearing this was just incredibly motivating. We talked a little bit before. I'd like you to also talk about, because I think this would be different, the investment side that you were talking about, as a great avenue for agents. And I think that's something new. I'd love to hear from you on that.
Yeah, a lot of you would love the opportunity to work with investors, to have a stable investors that are bringing you 20, 30 transactions each per year. See, these are multiple deals. If you're working mainstream real estate sales, and I encourage you to, and you're going to do that, that's bread and butter. Yet imagine you have an investor that's going to bring you 25 transactions a year. Let's imagine that you had 10 of those people bringing you 25 transactions per year. So you could sell a first time buyer a house, and chances are maybe 5, 7, 8, 10 years later, they might call you back to list that property and you help them buy a move up opportunity. Yet those opportunities are few and far between. Yet working investors, you're going to get multiple deals over and over and over. Okay. So how do you get them? I've got a strategy for you guys. I want you to buckle in because this is going to absolutely blow your mind. It's going to shake your world. And when you implement and deploy this, by the way, I've shared this with hundreds of thousands of agents and only a handful actually do it. Yet the handful that do it, they report back to me that they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, hear this, Michael. The first time I did this myself personally, I did it the wrong way, but I'm going to describe that. And even still, I was able to identify and earn the business of multiple prospects. When I did it the way I'm going to share with you, then within the next 30 days, after doing it the first time, doing it the way I'm going to share with you, I placed 8 properties under contract with an average sales price of 830,000 when my average sales price in Denver, Colorado at the time was about 130,000. So I 6x'd my average sales price. I placed 8 properties under contract in 30 days. Hear this. As a 21-year-old kid, I made over $100,000 with my first $100,000 commission month. And then I did this every quarter religiously. And I got to tell you, the investor side of my business, it skyrocketed. It just exceeded my own expectations. And I couldn't even stop it from growing, even if I wanted to. Let me just share with you exactly how to do this. So I want you to get your pens out, your paper, just get ready to take some great, great notes. First and foremost, this is a real estate investor webinar that I'm going to suggest that you put out to your entire database to invite them to engage. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Shon, I don't have that many people I can invite, or maybe they won't plug in. And by the way, even if they did engage and say, yeah, I'll go to a 2-hour webinar with you. Now, all of a sudden you're thinking, well, what would I say? How would I say it? I'm not a presenter. I don't know how to do this. Well, don't worry about all that head trash stuff. In fact, I'm going to digress just real quick, Michael. I want to introduce somebody who came to the call with us today that I asked not to be here, but they always consistently show up wherever I go, and I can't stand it, yet it happens. And we have to deal with it. This individual who showed up to the call today, well, his name is Mick. Okay. MIC, it's an acronym. MIC stands for My Inner Cynic, and we all have one. I'm talking about this head trash. I'm talking about the internal dialogue that we all have. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the voice that just asked you the question, what the hell is this guy talking about? And why is this important to my real estate business? See, Mick has a very important job, and Mick's job is to keep you comfortable, to keep you at status quo. Don't risk your little ego, Mick says. Don't step outside that comfort bubble. Somebody might insult you. Somebody might hurt your feelings. Ouch. Come on. Fear is not the same as danger. We get that. So Mick wants to keep you comfortable. And Mick says things to you like, well, don't follow up with that prospect again today. You just left them a message yesterday. They didn't call you back. Don't bother them. Mick wants you to be comfortable. Mick wants you to do the things that you're comfortable doing, like building that next brochure for your listing. Come on, you're not going to make any money doing that. That's 80% trash. Now, I say trash, but there's 20% work, right? And there's 80% work. The 80-20 principle, it's Pareto's principle. To me, it's as true as the law of gravity. 20% of your actions in real estate are going to yield at least 80% of your results. Now, there's 5 things on your 20% job description list, just 5. These are the only 5 things that are going to actually increase your bank account balance. It's practice. So you got to know what to say and how to say it. Then you have to say it to enough people. So then it's about lead generation and lead follow-up. To me, those 3 tasks are AM activities. Between 8 and 12, do those 3 things and only those 3 things. You say, well, what about my email inbox? The moment you open your email inbox, guys, you've made a conscious decision to begin managing everybody else's priorities instead of your own. 8 to 12 is sacred time. It's your time to focus on your priority. Practice, lead gen, lead follow-up. Then in the afternoon, the next two things on the 20% job description is go on appointments, negotiate contracts, right? And guys, if you just time blocked 8 to 12, and then at 12 o'clock, it's like you flip a switch. I don't care what you do. Go sit on the couch, eat bonbons, watch your favorite show on Netflix. It doesn't matter what you do because you've done the most important task of the day. Practice, lead gen, lead follow up. The simple truth is this: you will not have time to sit on the couch and eat bonbons and watch your favorite show on Netflix because you'll have more appointments, more contracts to negotiate. That's the simple truth, okay? This means that you're not going to schedule final walkthroughs, home inspections, or even closings before 12 o'clock. So you've got to teach people how to treat you, got to set and manage the appropriate expectations, master 8 to 12. Forget about everything else. Just master 8 to 12 and you're going to be successful, okay? Set a minimum standard for yourself. How many live conversations are you going to create? I'm going to make this really simple for everybody. If you want more appointments, and I know you do, all you need to do is create more conversations, and I don't care how you do it. Even a salesperson without a ton of skill, if they talk to enough people, eventually they're going to find somebody who wants to do business with them. I've got a client on the East Coast, for example. He's got a ritual every morning. He goes into Starbucks. He arrives at about 6 a.m., sets up his laptop. He goes up to the barista, gives him a $20 bill as a tip. Now, tip, by the way, it's an acronym. It stands for to inspire performance, which means that we should probably give people tips before they actually do the work, right? So he gives her a $20 bill, or him, and then gives another $20 bill and says, listen, I want you to deduct $1 off of every person who comes through this line, whatever they're buying, just deduct $1 off their bill. Tell them it's from me as a gift. I'm in real estate. I'm sitting right over here. If they have any questions, just come up and ask. He's creating a minimum of 15 live conversations every morning before 7 a.m., guys. Now,
What a
they might
great,
not have real estate need.
great nugget. I mean, right there, so tactical and so easy to execute, to your point, and you're not banging on phones if that, really is your fear in life. Great,
Right.
great tactical. I love it. I just want you to get back to the investor side with the webinar.
Yeah, we got a timeline.
And I don't want to lose that because you got it to the point of, okay, I'm the agent. I'm not comfortable with this, right? To your point, I'm worried I don't have enough people. That's where you kind of left that off. But I want you to talk about how you turn this into like a real moneymaker.
Great job on pulling me back, Michael. Good job, my friend. You're a great interviewer. So let's talk about this. So it could be me as a talking head show for 2 hours. I'm concerned about the content that I'm going to present. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. You don't have to. Don't worry about that stuff. Here's my point. What I want you to do is formulate a team of what I'll call promotion partners that are also going to be presenters during your 2 hour webinar. So 7 promotion partners that are not real estate agents, yet they are aligned with real estate at some capacity. I want you to get your pens out, and I'm going to give you all 7 categories of promotion partners that I want you to identify. So I want you to identify a mortgage loan originator, okay, number 1. Number 2 would be, say, a financial planner. Number 3, a property manager. Number 4 would be a 1031 tax deferred exchange specialist. Number 5 is a PNC insurance agent, a CPA, and a real estate attorney. You got 7 promotion partners. Now, by the way, each of these people probably have a database of around 3,000 to 4,000 people that they've cultivated over years of doing what they do. So I, as an individual agent, let's say I have 2,000 people in my database, I can invite all 2,000 people to my investment webinar. I could give the whole talk myself, and I might get 20 or 30 people to say, yes, I'm going to engage in your webinar. And then I have to build my whole presentation for 2 hours. Then I have to give the presentation all by myself, and it's not going to be as effective. That's how I did it the first time. I did it all on my own. And then I learned about a marketing concept. It sounds kind of disgusting, but it's called host parasite relationship, which means that I get indirect access to your database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ghostwrite a email marketing campaign. I'm going to ghostwrite a social media post campaign. I'm going to give them scripts, dialogues, and rejection handlers, and I'm going to charge them with promoting this event to their entire database. So again, I, as a solo agent, I can invite 2,000 people by inviting these other 7 people to participate in this, with my intention being that they do more business this year than they did last year. And I got a great idea on how to do it. All you have to do is send out this ghostwritten email and social media post campaign, present for 10 minutes during my webinar. That's 70 minutes of presentation. I'd be the last to present. I'd be the MC. Guys, this way you're inviting 20 or 30,000 people to attend your event instead of just 2,000. You'll get 100 plus people to show up to your webinar. And all you have to do is be the master of ceremony. So you'll charge each of your promotion partners to develop a presentation that is 10 minutes in duration, that talks about real estate investing from their industry's perspective. So the MLO, they're going to talk about how to put their dormant equity to work for them, to do a cash out refinance. Because that money stuck inside their walls is not doing them any good right now. They can pull that money out. They can leverage that capital to purchase an income producing property. The 1031 exchange specialist is going to teach them how to avoid capital gains, how they could sell their existing investment properties and just do a 1031 exchange and roll into something bigger that's going to bring more cash flow and improve their net worth. The financial planner, it's going to tell them how they could take their 401ks, convert that in a non-taxable event into a self-directed IRA and invest their money into real estate, right? The real estate attorney is going to talk about how to set up an LLC and why that's important. P&C insurance agents can talk about the fine print and what type of policies they should avoid. Property managers can tell them how to vet and identify their candidates, how to do background checks and credit checks and all that stuff and what platforms they need to use. Guys, it's a full educational event. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich for certain process. Okay. And so you and your 7 promotion partners, you promote the heck out of this webinar, 2-week marketing window. That's all you need. And you're going to get hundreds of people raising their hand, volunteering their contact information, registering to attend your event. Now let's talk about that day. You're going to be the master of ceremonies, right? So you kick off the webinar, you type into ChatGPT what you'd like to accomplish. ChatGPT is going to give you the best script you've ever heard in your life. And you're going to give them the intro, and then you're going to introduce the first speaker. And then the speaker is going to talk for 10 minutes. Then you're going to take back over and you're going to say, man, you did a great job. Here's what I loved about what he said about this or she said about that. And then you're going to introduce the next speaker. Simple as that. Yet one point I want you to get your mind around is that when say your real estate attorney or your CPA invites one of their clients to attend this real estate investment seminar, well, they show up because they trust the CPA or they trust the attorney. Well, they automatically trust you. You're perceived to be in business with these folks. So they're going to automatically trust you. And that's where the host parasite relationship comes from. We get that. So you'll be the last to present. And all you do is just share your screen and you're going to show them a couple of mainstream opportunities. Maybe it's a single family home, maybe a duplex or something like that. Then I'd encourage you to build an APOD on each of these investment opportunities. Now, APOD is an acronym. It stands for Annual Property Operating Data. All you have to do is go to Google and just type in APOD for real estate, and it's going to bring back a whole bunch of links. There's a whole bunch of free tools out there. They're just glorified spreadsheets where you just plug in the general property information like property taxes, estimated maintenance, any escrows that you want to set up for like fencing or roofing or anything like that. And it's going to spit out at the end your cash on cash return, your ROI, your capitalization rate. It'll give you first year ROI, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, 15th year ROI. And you just cast a vision of future mailbox money. And then at the end, you post a type form survey link to the chat. You ask everybody to complete the evaluation. And on the evaluation, it has all the qualifying questions that you need answered. To complete the survey, you have the survey results. And out of the 200 people that showed up at your webinar, you know that these 25 people have a sincere desire to invest in real estate. You've got a whole team behind you that you're going to take them in for a consultation, signed by your agency contract. And man, you are off to the races, you guys. I had people that owned their home free and clear. It was worth $1.5 million. They went out and popped a quick cash out $1 million mortgage. They leveraged that $1 million to buy a $5 million 20 unit apartment building. And they were net cash flowing about $8,500 a month, which certainly covered the cash out refinance expense and cash flowed from day one. Now, another sidebar comment, Michael. See, many of you, specifically real estate agents, I'm talking to you, you would love to invest in real estate, but maybe you don't have the bank account balance for it yet. What I did on many of these deals that I did with investors is I left my 3% commission in on the deal and I asked to partner with them in a JV. So back in those days, it was 20% down. Now it requires 25% down. Okay. As a non-owner investor to purchase an investment producing property, 25% down is kind of the going rate. You'll find it at 20%, but it's more expensive money. But here's the point. You leave 3% in. The buyer generates the other 22%. Do the math. You'd own around 11% of that property because you're putting in 11% of the capital required. So you secure that with a promissory note, a second deed of trust stating that you own 11% of the property. You get 11% of the cash flow. Michael, I did this 15 years ago. I still get checks in the mail every single month. And when they choose to sell this property, I get 12.5% because it was 20% down back then. I gave up my 3% commission, let it play. And that $45,000 that I left in on the deal that was my commission, it's no longer worth $45,000 today. It's now worth about $200,000. And when they choose to sell the property, I've got a second deed of trust, a promissory note securing my position. I don't care when they sell it, but I do know that I'll probably be in my 60s or 70s. And all of a sudden I'm going to get a a nice little payday that I'm going to be able to take my entire family down to, I don't know, Turks and Caicos, maybe Grand Cayman Islands for a month, and we'll all just hang out and just enjoy it.
Just
That's my
love it.
vision
I
for
love
each
it.
and every one of these agents. So again, just to kind of recap, all you have to do is formulate your promotion partner team, pull them together into a conference room and say, I want you guys to do more business this year than you did last year. And I got a strategy to do it. We're going to put on and promote a real estate investor webinar. Pick your date about 45 days out. That gives you about a month to pull together your marketing assets, make sure everybody's on board, promote your webinar for 2 weeks. By the way, this doesn't have to cost you a cent. Eventbrite is absolutely free. Build your Eventbrite landing page and then promote your investor webinar. You're going to get a lot of people showing up. By the way, you'd be shocked, you guys, how many people would invest in real estate if they knew how to do it. They don't pull the trigger because they're terrified. They're terrified that they're going to make a bad decision on a massive, huge purchase that it's going to leave them and their family destitute and bankrupt. So when they can understand it, see, Emerson said, the antidote for any fear is knowledge. And when you can educate them and teach them, they automatically trust you. Then you can leverage that trust to create a more professional relationship as you as their real estate agent, and you're helping these investors acquire property after property after property. Guys, this is a strategy that I think deserves your time, your attention.
Shon, thank you so much. People watching this, look up Shon, you'll see who he is, developed some of the biggest coaching programs in the world, hundreds of thousands of people through the program, has his own coaching company now. Give us your information so people can follow you on social or come find you. And I'd want to work with you tomorrow. So give us some information on how to get in touch with you.
Thank you, Michael. You're so kind. You can go to iconcoaching.com. Gang, we do a weekly webinar every Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. We do a webinar that is definitely, we spend a lot of time on this and we analyze, well, what strategies and tactics are actually working in today's market? Who's using them? Who's willing to put their reputation on the line to say, this is what you should do a webinar around? And we're going to do a webinar. We're going to expose you to all kinds of new strategies and tactics that are cutting edge that work in today's market. So at a minimum, I want you to go to iconcoaching.com, just click on the events tab, click on webinars. You're going to see our weekly webinar series. By the way, if you scroll down on that page, you're going to see hundreds of webinar replays, different topics that you should probably investigate because there's some really powerful stuff in there, guys. This will definitely shortcut your path to success. I guarantee it. So at
Excellent.
a minimum, do that, engage in the webinars. If you want help and you want help like right away, you can just drop me a quick email at Shon@iconcoaching.com. That's SHON at iconcoaching.com. And I'd love to just get on a quick call with you. No cost, no expectation, no hard close strategy, just 30 minutes of your time to find a profound sense of clarity. So let's
Awesome.
do that. And if you want to go further, well, we could talk about that, but no expectation on my part. Just encourage you to engage in a free coaching session. You could do that also from my website at iconcoaching.com. Let's get on a Zoom meeting together for just 30 minutes. Let me learn about your business, and then I'll be able to give you a prescription that will help you get to that next level of success.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it, Shon. Thank you so much. You're going to hear from my son-in-law to be, who happens to be an agent. First thing I'm going to do is hook him up with you. So I have to make sure he takes care of my daughter. But
Brilliant. I love it.
thank you so much, Shon. Please follow Shon on social, follow Agentmoves on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And until next time, just some phenomenal advice. Really appreciated your time. I know people pay big bucks for this, so I really appreciate it, Shon.
Michael, it's my pleasure, buddy.
Thanks.
Anytime. Take care.